got to be honest, I'm really enjoying the number of new, exciting electric vehicles hitting the market this year. And there are, in fact, so many now that we sometimes miss them because we're busy filming something else. And the Kia EV-6, a car that was revealed last week, not this, is one such vehicle. Revealed while I was away on the road in Southern California, filming some specials with Lucid, Aptera, and others. The EV-6 is the first ground-up EV from Kia, and it's built on the same eGMP platform as the recently revealed Hyundai Ioniq 5. So here's our take on this exciting new car and why I am so keen to get behind the wheel, as well as everything I think you should know about it. I can't not start with the design. The EV-6 is technically a compact crossover SUV, but honestly its design language is less SUV and more sports car. It's got a bonnet, or hood, that reminds me a lot of the Ford Mustang Mach-E we've got on press loan right now, and its angular headlights ringed with LED daytime runners give it an aggressive stance. Front and centre, of course, is that new Kia badge, redesigned for a new electric age, while the rear of the car has a sloping tailgate that's now quickly becoming the norm for all new performance crossover SUV EVs. Just like the Mustang Mach-E I mentioned earlier, the EV-6 has a classic sports car stance with a noticeable curve in its waistline just above the wheel arches, and because it's an EV, the door handles fit flush with the car for reduced aerodynamic drag. In its official press release announcing the car, Kia says that the EV-6 was designed using the new Kia design philosophy called Opposites United. But honestly, I think the most important thing here is that the Kia EV-6 doesn't look like a car that's primary purpose is to reduce emissions and help Kia drive towards a more sustainable future. No, this car looks like a sporty, desirable drive that people will actually want to own. And in an industry which has, for many years, seen automakers make duddy and boring electric cars, the more exciting and engaging designs we can get, the better. Inside, the Kia EV-6 features a pretty minimalist design with plenty of recycled materials making up interior content, including what has become a standard for the auto industry, fabric made from recycled plastic bottles. There's a no-nonsense digital dashboard blending into a centre touchscreen display. It is actually made up of twin 12-inch curved displays with thin film panel tech, which frankly makes the interior already feel fun, futuristic, and larger than it would if it was an older, thicker display. There aren't a whole lot of buttons either, suggesting Kia is following the increasingly common practice of utilising software buttons on screen, which of course lays the groundwork for over-the-air software updates and UI changes down the road. For the driver, there's also an augmented reality head-up display system which can be customised to include details about the EV-6 standard advanced driver assistance system, speedometer, and turn-by-turn navigation. All of this is backed up with a substantial sound system which can optionally be upgraded to a 14-speaker Meridian sound system. Both systems come complete with active sound design, something that Kia says provides audible feedback to the driver. Think fake engine noises, and that again reminds me of the various operational modes and noises that the Ford Mustang Mach-E can produce. Before I get to driving specs, let's touch on the luggage capacity. Like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Kia EV-6 will gain a front trunk in addition to the 520 litres or 18.36 cubic feet of rear cargo space, which goes up to an astonishing 1,300 litres or 45.9 cubic feet with the rear seats folded. But also, like the Ioniq 5, how much space you're going to get up front will depend on where you live. In North America, thanks I think to the ban on SK Innovation selling batteries in the US, there's actually less cargo space up front for North American customers, who will have to be content with 20 litres or 0.7 cubic feet, regardless of their choice of drivetrain. Outside of North America, however, the two-wheel drive variant gets 52 litres up front, which is 1.8 cubic feet, a substantially larger amount of space. Which brings me to the battery pack and drivetrain options. Just like the Ioniq 5, you can opt for rear or all-wheel drive variants with a choice of standard 58 kWh or 77.4 kWh battery packs. The entry-level two-wheel drive EV-6 boasts 125 kilowatts from its rear-wheel drivetrain, while the range-topping all-wheel drive EV6 GT Long Range produces 430 kilowatts at the wheels, something that of course is responsible for its 3.5-second sprint time. Sadly, Kia hasn't given us full range specifications yet, which usually means there's still some tweaking and final tests to go through. But it does hint its most efficient model will offer in excess of 510 kilometres on the WLTP test cycle, which is equivalent to 317 miles. But perhaps the most exciting thing is the time it takes to refuel. Because the EV6 uses the eGMP platform, it's got the capability to charge from both 400-volt CCS charging stations and 800-volt CCS charging stations. The latter makes it possible to charge from 10% to 80% full in just 18 minutes in ideal conditions, or to add 100 kilometers, 62 miles, in just 4.5 minutes, again, in ideal situations. That's both bonkers and also incredibly important for anyone who has held off on buying an EV right now because of fears they'll be stuck for hours waiting for their car to recharge. Sure, a full charge will take a little longer, but as is usually the case in the real world, we don't usually need a full charge to get us through a day. For most applications, even unexpected longer trips, just a few minutes at a DC quick charger at that power level really will be enough until you can get to an overnight charging stop. As to driving modes, Kia says single pedal driving will be an option, as well as a more traditional driving mode for those who prefer to use the accelerator and brake pedal independently. And of course, you'll be able to dial in how much regenerative braking you need. If you're excited at this point, I think you should be, but there is more goodness to come. Unlike so many cars in the segment, Kia has confirmed that the EV6 will be built to tow. I cannot imagine many people towing with the GT variants, but nevertheless, all cars can tow up to 1,600 kilos, or 3,500 pounds. That's more than many other electric cars on the market and cements the EV6 as a great all-rounder for a first-time customer. But just like the Ioniq 5, I think another real killer feature for the EV6 is its ability to provide up to 3.6 kilowatts of power through its vehicle-to-load function. Plug in your special charge cable and then plug a regular household power strip into that, and you can power emergency devices for many hours without reaching for a smelly generator or an expensive battery backup like a Tesla Powerwall. For many customers, being able to use their car as a backup power station in a natural disaster or power cut is going to be truly invaluable and revolutionary. I know personally that when we have a blackout here, I just love a car that I could plug an extension lead into without reaching for and faffing around with 12-volt inverters. Of course, as usual, I'm going to reserve my final judgment until the car is under the control of my paws in a full test drive situation, but if I had to pick cars based on looks and specs, well, this would most definitely be on my list of want. We can expect the Kia EV6 to hit dealer lots later this year and early next, so pricing should be forthcoming in the not too distant future. But in the meantime, let me know what you think about this car below. Is it too large, too samey to all the other cars coming to market? Or does it ignite a bit of sports car love that makes you want to dump the pump for good in order to get this car dancing to the beat of electric power? Let me know below. That's it for today. As always, thanks to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month Patreons, that's Regine Fellows, Gordon C., Paul Conway, Laura Sandborn, Anthony Coates, Denny Hyde, Sean Ueda, and Tesla in the Gong. And our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters, John Lyons, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerbeck, Will Graylin, and Ian. If you would like to join the ranks of wonderful supporters of this channel, you'll find links below in the description to Patreon, Bitcoin, and Ko-fi. You'll find a link to chat with the team and TE fans over at Discord. And if you just want to buy some TE swag, you know where to head, our Redbubble store. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!